you ready to master the waves of medical device product development? Well, wax up your surfboard because you are listening to Inspired by Amua. And here is your medical device product development expert, that Hawaiian-hearted hostess who will help you hang 10, Megan Alonso.
E como mai and aloha. You're listening to Inspired by Amua, where we help you master the waves of medical product development. Each week, we interview guests that educate, guide, and inspire to give you the skills you need so you and your product can hang 10. If this is your first time listening, Amua is a Hawaiian word. It's spelled I-M-U-A, and it means to advance forward with passion despite rough waves. There are plenty of rough waves in the medical device industry, so keep listening because we've got you covered. You're so lucky to be tuning in today. Many of you have written or called me about the trouble you're having with fundraising and your pitches, and you're wondering what to do. Well, I hear you there because it's not easy. That's why I've brought an expert on today to help. Our guest is someone who's heard thousands of pitches. He speaks all over the world about giving the perfect pitch. He created the infomercial. And talk about pitching, he was one of the original sharks on the hit TV show Shark Tank. He's known as the $5 billion man, and I've teamed up with him not only for this podcast, but to co-author his upcoming book titled Put a Shark in Your Tank, especially for you about pitches and product development. Welcome, Kevin Harrington. Kevin, are you ready to hang 10?
You bet, Megan. Thanks for having me today. It's a pleasure. Looking forward to hanging out with all the listeners today.
All right. So, as I said in the intro, several people have problems with their pitches, and they often ask, hey, can you introduce me to more investors? And I know that's what they're asking me for, but that's not what they need. They need some help perfecting their pitch and just getting their pitch ready in general. So I know you get asked this question all the time, and you have plenty of tips for us. So what is the number one mistake you see by people when they give you pitches?
So, let's talk about pitches. Yes, I get tons of pitches. Thousands over the last number of years. Some pitches are people they've got an idea, they've got a napkin and a drawing on it. They want me to help them take that to reality. Others have an existing product. They're further along and they want to get ready to start selling it. And then other folks are at a point of, hey, look. I've got all this stuff put together, whether it's an idea, a product, or whatever, but I need to raise capital because I need to do patents, I need to do prototypes, I need to do molds, I need to do regulatory. I mean, I know you have a lot of specialty and experience in the medical device arena, so the one thing you definitely need to make sure is you have capital. So when people come to me looking to raise capital, one of the biggest mistakes they make is they just say, hey, can you introduce me to investors, right? Well, look, it's, an investor ultimately is what's needed, and that's, kind of like that's sort of on a scale of 1 to 10, that's what you need at the very end, the 10, okay? You got to start at the beginning. In other words, if you're in a baseball game, you got to get to first base, to second base, to third before you can, touch home plate. So, getting to the investors is kind of like rounding third. So, so what I say is you've got to put your foundation together. You got to put together your proposal. You've got to put together your pitch. And so ultimately, we're talking about creating a perfect pitch, creating a document that then you can rehearse such that when you do get in front of the investors, you need to be prepared to talk to these investors, and then we can talk about all the different types of investors that are out there. But I think just in summary, the most important thing is not just getting the list or names of investors to talk to. It's putting your package together such that you're ready to not only talk to the investors, but close a deal and be ready to answer all their questions and be in line to raise the capital, actually.
So you mentioned you're going to ask them questions and you want them to be prepared for some of those answers. So again, I would ask you, what is maybe the top 2 questions that you ask and people are unprepared?
So when somebody comes in and they want to put their, I'll call it their, let's call it an investment package together. They really need sort of a business plan, executive summary, something that is short and sweet, though, that gets right to the meat of it. I'll get an email from somebody that says, look, I know you're busy. I know you don't have a lot of time. So let me tell you what I'm interested in. And then they write a 2-page email, and then they have a 50-page business plan. And it's like, they know I'm busy, but let me take up the rest of your day. Okay, so that generally is a very tough situation to deal with, because I just don't have the time to read a 50-page plan. And sometimes if it's a 2-page email, that's going to be, something I'll save for later. And sometimes, I don't get back to it. So the reality is this: you've got to be short, sweet, right to the point. And that's what an executive summary does. Executive summary gives the highlights of what the opportunity is. What's the industry? What is the problem? What's, I say you've got to tease them up front with some kind of a problem. Give me the problem. Now tell me about how your product or service solves the problem, and how it solves it uniquely, and the unique aspect of it. Because if it's a Me Too product, it's maybe tough, but how does it distinguish itself from others that are out there? Or if it's Me Too, does it get to the problem? Does it solve the problem much quicker? Me Too it solves the problem, but in 2 days instead of 30 days. And if it's a medical type product. So anyway, you need this kind of quick overview, down and dirty. You want to cover some basic things. You want to cover the problem, the solution, the competitive analysis, the risk analysis, et cetera. I could actually spend all day talking about what this needs to be, but basically an executive summary summarizes the opportunity in a unique fashion, and maybe some quick backgrounds on the folks involved, the dream team that's involved, and how you're going to accomplish this. And then the one thing is, what is the ask? What are you looking for, right? I'm looking for some capital. How much capital? What are you giving up, et cetera? So, I could just go back to, let's just take Shark Tank, right? So, Shark Tank has been around now. I shot the pilot in 2009. We've been, seeing the show now on the air for the last 7 years. And people, they get 3 minutes, and they have been coached and coached and coached, and their pitch has been honed down to where if they don't have kind of a pretty good summaried pitch in 3 minutes, they're not going to get on the air, because that season, 50,000 people start out each year, and they only pick less than 200 that actually get filmed. So they've been through some headaches to get to the point of actually getting on the air. So if you watch Shark Tank, you'll see you've got to follow that kind of system that I just gave you, but you've got 3 minutes to cover it and do a good job, so that you don't get blasted by Kevin O'Leary sitting right there in the middle that loves to take a shot at folks in the process if their pitch isn't good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned people emailing you. I imagine that it's even hard to get notice in your inbox. So if someone has there's tricks you can do with the headlines and the intro of the email to help capture your attention too. So you just don't delete. What are some interesting ones that you've seen?
Well, I mean, every day I get some cool things. For somebody to get my attention, it all depends on kind of the frame of mind that I'm in also. So that's the other thing to understand with any kind of potential investor. Just depends on when you get them. But I think one approach I'll talk about that doesn't work, which is very interesting. Like the other day, I got a quick email from somebody that said, I saw a deal you did on Shark Tank and how stupid that deal was. If you liked that stupid deal, then you're going to love mine. So, that is not the best way to approach someone, calling them stupid, okay? That, hey, how stupid could you be to do that deal? Mine's a lot better. Like, no, that's, a little bit insulting. So, look, I got thick skin, so I don't really care. I may even read further just to see how many other inappropriate things are in that email, I think what people forget a lot of times is their pitch ultimately is the goal is to get the shark to write the check. So it isn't about you, and what you want, what you need, at being the person pitching. It's about how can I attract the shark to want to make the investment, to want to read this email, to want to take it to the next step. And ultimately with an email, you're not trying to get them to, read it and send you a check. You're trying to get them to read it, respond with a yes, I want to talk more about this or meet you. So, let's get on the phone. So one of the things that does attract me is, hey, I have an opportunity for you that will pay you back your investment in an accelerated fashion so that within less than 6 months, you'll have your money back plus a huge return on your investment with very little risk. And so that would land on some really great ears on my side, because the kind of investments I don't like, some people, this gets down to finding the investor sweet spots. Some investors, and I raise money too, so I talk to investors all the time. I'll talk to an investor and say, what kind of investments do you like? Oh, I like to invest now, hold it for the long term, and make big returns over a long term. So I buy now, hold, and sell later. 5 years. So that's a long-term investor, and that's great. That's not me. I like to invest now, make my money quickly, and because I don't want to know that 4.5 years from now, I've never received my return, and they went out of business. I lost all my money. If I have an arrangement where I get an accelerated payback, I'm either going to get my money back in 6 months or not. I can do immediate things to try to get involved and try to see where is my money, where's my asset. So I don't like to wait a long time to know whether or not what I've done is going to pay off.
Yeah, and I've actually had guests before that really stressed when you're talking with someone what's in it for them and why should they care, and that's a big deal, and you don't want to make it about you. And then you also touched on another point of do your homework and research these investors. Don't just blast a pitch out to everyone. You need to make it personal. It's almost like if you're going for a job interview, you never want to send the same resume and cover letter to every single company. You personalize it and make it about them. What can you do for them?
Exactly. I mean, what I talk about, I mentioned it, the term investor sweet spot. So think about this. When Mark Zuckerberg was building Facebook, he needed capital. He was a college kid. He didn't have any money, so he went to investors. Now, when he was pitching his investors, some investors say, I want a very healthy profit margin, and I want to see a company that makes big profits, right? Well, Mark was not telling any investor that, hey, give me your money today, and at the end of a year, we're going to have these big, healthy profit margins. And if an investor wanted that was not, going to be somebody that would invest in the early stages of Facebook, because Facebook was all about scale. It was all about customer acquisition, getting users. So Mark Zuckerberg was telling his investors, look, if I can get to 1 million, then 10 million, then 100 million, then 500 million users, all along that way, what I'm doing is building scale. There's going to be zero profits because we're plugging everything we have, every resource, every investment, every dollar back into more customer acquisition so that at some point we'll be able to start selling advertising to all these people, and then we're going to make billions. So there's a ton of investors that are interested in scale and customer acquisition, but that's not the same type of investor that wants healthy profit margins. So know who you're talking to, because if you've got a guy that only wants profits, well, maybe you could have converted that pitch to be how profitable this was going to be after you reached scale, but you need this initial seed money to get to the point of getting those healthy profit margins. So, again, it's all in how you present, because you can actually present to many of the same investors. It's all in how the presentation and the pitch is made.
Mm-hmm. So just for some entertainment, tell us about a horrible pitch that you've been given.
Well, I think that probably I could talk about hundreds of them probably, but I'll never forget. I go to a lot of events, and I was at an event in St. Pete, Florida, where we were taking 5 pitches the one morning, and they said you got 5 minutes to pitch. And then at the end, 5 people are going to be getting pitches, and then there's going to be Q&A, and we're going to pick a winner. Well, the guy that went up second, and I have to say this is why it was so bad, because he got a chance to see a reasonably decent pitch first, and then he got up second, and as he was rambling, and they gave you a 1 minute reminder that you had 1 minute left. So at the 4 minute mark, it was like, okay, 1 minute left. Well, after 4 minutes, this guy had not mentioned his company name or what his product was or what he wanted money for. He had just talked about his personal life and where he went to school and he grew up and his job and his this and his that. And I'm sitting there rolling my eyes like, this guy has no idea what the heck he's doing. He certainly never rehearsed this. And by the way, if you get 5 minutes to pitch in front of 150 investors in a room, and that's what this was, and you're wasting my time with 4 minutes that are just totally useless energy, shame on you. If you get that 5 minutes to pitch a room of investors, practice it, be ready, and have somebody critique your pitch before you come and do it, because you got one shot, and that one shot came and went for that guy. And afterwards he's like, oh wow, can we get together, Kevin? I'm sorry, I didn't really never get a chance to even tell anybody what I did or what I wanted. And I'm like, well, listen, I'm sorry, I'm too busy, and I don't think we're going to be able to do that. So, at the end of 4 minutes, this guy was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how fast 5 minutes came and went. So, that's embarrassing for him. But listen, you got to know what you're doing. Shark Tank, they hold tryouts. They give you 1 minute to give them the elevator pitch. There's 800 people sitting in line. You got 1 minute to pitch, and if that 1 minute isn't power-packed and energetic and exciting and leads to some kind of a motivating point, they're on to the next, and you're not going to get invited back.
Mm-hmm. So what about pitches where there's PowerPoint involved? I've seen some where they have a few minutes, but they try to squeeze in 30, 40 PowerPoint slides. And what do you think is the optimal visuals for someone to display?
Well, I actually, there's some people that do not like PowerPoints. I happen to be a big believer in using visuals, because keep in mind, I'm 30 years doing television products on TV, as seen on TV. And, if I had to try to sell a product without any visuals on TV, it'd be pretty tough. So I believe that visuals can be very powerful. I don't mind a little video, but if you've got a 3 minute pitch, you got to be careful not to load it up too fast and furious. You got to give people time to digest and understand. So I think visuals can be very powerful. Charts, graphs, couple little teaser videos maybe. I actually enjoy watching a little bit of visual, because this shows, to me, it's easy just to get up and talk for 3 minutes, but try to put together a powerful presentation with a couple quick little videos, and that shows me somebody really put together a powerful pitch. So I have no problem with somebody doing that, but I think it's got to start. It's almost like an infomercial. It's got to have a starting point, a middle, and an ending, and a close. So as I say in a pitch, you got to tease, then you please, then you seize. You tease with an intention getting opening problem. You please by solving the problem with magical transformations, and you seize by giving an irresistible offer. And if you can do that in 3 minutes, using PowerPoints and using visuals, that can be very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Great. So those are some good takeaways. Tease, please, seize. So don't forget that. Let's talk a little bit about the book as we wrap up. So like I mentioned in the intro, we have a book coming out this fall about pitching. That's the most of the book will be about pitching. I'll have a little bit that goes into product development after you get the money from your pitch. So go into a little bit more detail about that.
Well, so the book that's coming out, it's called Put a Shark in Your Tank. And the basic concept is that it's sort of the concept of a shark in your tank is like having a mentor or a coach in your business, right? So we're talking about pitching, we're talking about raising money here, we're talking about product development. So when I first started 30 plus years ago, I didn't know how to pitch, I didn't know how to raise money, I didn't know how to develop product, but I've now done it hundreds of times. And, I've raised hundreds of millions of dollars over the years in the process. So, I go to a lot of trade shows. I go to 25 plus trade shows a year, and I develop products. I develop pitches and partner with people. I invest money in projects. We build businesses and we raise capital. So putting a shark in your tank is helping people take their business to the next level. It's mentoring them and coaching them on doing all of the above. And, Megan, you're in a very specialized industry of developing medical products. You've got manufacturing there, you've got prototyping, you've got patenting, you've got governmental regulation, you've got FDA, you've got all kinds of very specialized areas that are very important. So I'm sure as you help people do product development in your area, you're putting your shark in their tank because you're the expert in that arena, and so that's what folks are looking for. A lot of times, inventors they develop things and they invent things out of necessity around the house or in their business or with some kind of a medical condition that they have or someone that they know has. So it's being able to help those people take their product to the next step because you've got the experience and you've dealt with, getting 510K applications or medical device applications or international requirements to get approvals to sell products in foreign countries and things like that. So that's what I've been doing for the last 30 plus years. I know that's part of your expertise in business is helping people taking their ideas to the next step. And so that's kind of what putting a shark in your tank is all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited for that to come out. It'll be arriving late this fall, probably November. So we will keep you posted on that. And until then, thanks, Kevin, for joining us. I know you brought a ton of value for our guests. Again, tease, please, seize.
Thanks for having me, Megan, and look forward to working with you on the book. And for all those listening, thanks for being part of our day today.
So I hope you enjoyed that interview. I was just amazed the whole time with what Kevin had to say. You should jump into our Facebook group. It's Inspired by Amua. A lot of people are in there just sharing their journey, what they're going through. We can all help each other. It doesn't necessarily have to be an expert. So I look forward to seeing you in there. Until the next episode, Amua!
Mahalo for joining us. If you're new to riding the waves of medical device product development, or if you've been in development for a while already, Inspired by Amua is here to surf with you. Want to be a master of the waves? Text HANG10, that's all one word, HANGTEN, to 44222. We'll send you the most common wipeouts companies make in product development so you can avoid them and reach master wave status. Again, that's hang 10 to 44222. We publish a new episode every Tuesday, so catch us at inspiredbyamua.com. Emua,